Hey there, I'm Kendra Ferguson. I'm a CPA specializing in helping construction companies leverage their businesses to build lasting wealth for their families by providing accounting, CFO, and business advisory services. Today, I wanted to talk about why contractors should raise their prices right now. Yesterday, I had a really interesting conversation with a very nice couple from Alabama. About 3 years ago, the husband started his own excavating and landscaping business. He purchased his equipment and has kind of taught himself how to do the excavating services. And he's grown it a little bit each year, raising his prices every year. And we came around to the subject of price, and I asked him, how much do you think you could raise your prices without losing any customers? And he actually said that he felt he could go from his $550 daily rate for excavating all the way up to $650 a day for excavating services without losing any customers. And in my mind, I was doing the math. I was like, that's massive. So after we got off the call, as an accountant, I hopped into a spreadsheet, and I thought I would share that with you today. So let's take a look. So I put together some sample financial statements for my potential excavating business owner. These are not his numbers. I don't know his numbers. I totally just made these up. So let's say he's making $125,000 a year and his costs of revenue are $37,500, which is 30%. His costs of revenue are relatively low because he doesn't have any staff and he's doing all the work himself. So he's bringing home a gross profit of $87,500. He's got low G&A costs because he doesn't have any office staff and he's just a one-person show. So he might be bringing home in net profit $75,000. Now, we talked yesterday that he thought he could raise his daily rate from $550 to $650 and not lose any customers. And that's an increase of 18%. So let's see what his financial statements could look like if he raised his prices 18%. So his revenue in this instance would go from $125,000 to all the way up to $147,500, which is the 18% increase. His costs of revenue, as you can see, are staying the same because he's doing the exact same work for more money. And so his gross profit is going from $87,500 all the way up to $110,000. And that's an increase of 26%. His G&A costs are staying the same. And so his net profit is going from $75,000 all the way up to $97,500, which is an increase of 30%. And that's massive. That could have a huge impact on his family and their future. But let's say you own a business and you've got staff and your scenario is a little bit more complicated. Let's see what that might look like. Let's say you are running a business and you're doing $1 million, just to make this easy, in annual sales. Your costs of revenue are much higher as a percentage of sales because you've got a lot of direct labor. You've got increased equipment costs, increased overhead, those kinds of things. So you're bringing home a gross profit of $250,000. Your G&A costs are also higher as a percentage of sales, 15% in this scenario, because you've probably got an office staff, maybe a bookkeeper, or someone who's helping you with sales and marketing to help you run your business. And so you might be bringing home a net profit of $100,000. Not shabby in any way, shape, or form. So let's say you didn't feel comfortable raising your prices 18% like my excavating business owner might be able to do, and you wanted to be a little bit more conservative. Let's say you raised your prices 5% because you felt like that was reasonable without losing any customers. This is what that would look like. So your sales would go from $1 million all the way up to $1,050,000, which is a 5% increase. And your cost of revenue are staying the same because, again, you're not doing any extra work. You're doing the exact same amount of work just for more money. And so your gross profit is going from $250,000 all the way up to $300,000, which is a percentage increase of 20%. That's huge. And your G&A costs are staying the same, which means that your net profit is going from $100,000 a year all the way up to $150,000, which is a 50% increase in your net profit that's going to ultimately end up coming to your personal pocket after taxes, of course. This scenario doesn't account for tax impacts. So what would that mean for your business? If you could raise your prices just a little bit and not lose any customers or lose a small amount of customers, think about the impact that could have on your personal bottom line and what you could do. Maybe you could actually go on a vacation with your family. You could do all sorts of things with a little bit more money in your pocket. And you don't have to do anything else. You're just charging more money for the great work that you're already doing. So there are some things to remember as we're thinking about this and you're considering this for your own business. You really do have to do great work for your clients or your customers. If you're having customer service issues or you're not reliable, you're not going to be able to increase your prices and not lose customers. So you really do have to be doing really great work for your customers. Testing is what's going to give you data to be able to make better decisions about your pricing, but you have to be able to track it. So let's say on the next job, you raise your price by 5%, and let's say your customer is totally fine with it. That's data for you that they didn't balk at that, and they think that's a fair price for the work that you're going to do for them. So you have to be able to track that data. So keep a spreadsheet, kind of depending on the volume of things that you're doing. Keep a spreadsheet. Maybe you've got a CRM system, but be able to track those kinds of decisions so that you can go back and help you make better decisions in the future. Really, adjusting your prices is the easiest and fastest way that you can increase your income, as we've seen from the spreadsheets that we looked at before. So there's only so much that you can do from a cost control perspective before it starts to have a detriment on your business. So if you're always spending as little as possible on maintenance of your equipment, eventually you're going to end up with a really expensive equipment replacement. If you're always cutting costs in terms of your bookkeeping services or paying as little as possible to your employees, you're ultimately going to decrease the morale in your company, and that's going to start reflecting in the quality of the service that you're providing to your customers. So really, there's only so far you can go with cost, and price is the easiest way that's going to get you a good bang for your buck in terms of increasing your income. Now, these are two really basic scenarios that we looked at, and likely your business is much more complex and complicated and has many different factors that we haven't discussed today. So if that's you and you're kind of thinking, what would this look like in my business? Know that I can help you if you want to try to apply that to your business. So send me a message or click the link that I've provided to schedule a call with me, and we'll hop on the phone. I'll learn about your business and we'll talk about ways in which I could potentially work with you in the future. Doing these kinds of forecasting and scenario building exercises for my clients is so fun for me, and it helps them make more informed and sound financial decisions, which ultimately has a big impact on both their businesses and their lives, which is why I love to do it. So if you found today's video helpful, please feel free to like it and share it with any of your friends, family, or colleagues who you think might also benefit from it. And if you have a suggestion for a future video or you want to learn something new, send me a message. I'd love to hear it and love to teach something new. And of course, if you go out as a result of today's video and you raise your prices, you have to let me know how it goes. So go out, raise your prices, and I'm wishing you the best success.